Doctor Who has had a pretty difficult time of late, what with writers making questionable announcements, cast members telling audiences to piss off, the show selling its soul to Disney, and scandals involving its stars. But let's be honest here, the show's been in trouble for much longer than that, and that includes the spin-offs. Torchwood abandoned its original formula after 2 seasons, shifting to an overarching plot with Children of Earth and Miracle Day. The Sarah Jane Adventures was tragically cut short due to the passing of Elizabeth Sladen. And then there's Class, a show doomed from the start. And of course, let's not forget the inevitable train wreck on the horizon, the so-called war between land and sea. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today we're looking at one of Doctor Who's many failed spin-offs, Class. The problem with Class isn't just the blatant DEI checklist that got shoehorned into a new series. It's that its one major hook, the thing that could have saved it, was squandered before it even began. And to understand why, we need to take a trip back to where the show could have had a real selling point. In 2007, Stephen Moffat wrote Blink, a one-off Doctor Who episode that introduced one of the most terrifying and well-received villains in the show's history, the Weeping Angels. The episode follows Sally Sparrow, who stumbles upon a message hidden under peeling wallpaper, warning her about statues that move when unobserved. Her friend Kathy is sent back to 1920 by these so-called angels, and Sally begins to piece together a time loop mystery involving the Doctor, trapped in 1969, who communicates with her via hidden messages in DVDs. The angels seek to steal the TARDIS for its time energy, but in the end, Sally and her friend Larry outsmart them, trapping the creatures in a perpetual stare-off. This should have been the end of it, but of course, Stephen Moffat couldn't leave well enough alone. What followed was the inevitable overuse of the angels, complete with ridiculous additions like Angel Bob, who somehow keeps talking after being zapped out of existence, and the bastardization of their original concept with the Statue of Liberty moving through a city that literally never sleeps. Apparently, no one saw a giant weeping angel strolling across Manhattan. Right. Had none of this happened, had the Weeping Angels remained a one-off threat instead of being dragged out and diluted, then Class could have had an actual hook. Picture it. Instead of being yet another angsty, melodramatic teen drama set in Coal Hill Academy, Class could have revolved around a truly compelling mystery, one that slowly builds throughout the season, only for the finale to reveal the Weeping Angels as the real masterminds behind everything. And this wasn't just fan speculation. Patrick Ness, the series creator, actually planned for Class's second season to explore the Angels further, even taking us to their homeworld and depicting a civil war. Another concept involved an episode called Time Capsule, where an angel would send the main cast into the past, forcing them to use a time capsule to return to the present. But all of this potential was wasted. Instead, Class was just another YA drama with Doctor Who branding slapped on it, and the Weeping Angels, one of the most terrifying creatures Doctor Who ever gave us, were left to rot under a pile of half-baked lore and unnecessary retcons. And this is the problem with Doctor Who in general. It overuses its villains until they lose all impact. The Daleks, once the most feared creatures in the universe, are now joke villains wheeled out for the Christmas special. The Cybermen have been nerfed so many times that their whole emotionless shtick is practically a lie. The Master has been dragged through so many contrived twists that it's impossible to take him seriously anymore. Even the Silence, who had one of the creepiest introductions in the series, got overused so fast they lost their mystique almost immediately. It's why my favourite Doctor Who monsters remain the shape-shifting Zygons and the vampiric lamprey hemovores. They were used sparingly in classic Who, and that restraint kept them mysterious, unnerving and memorable. The Zygons didn't return until the Day of the Doctor, decades later, which meant their impact wasn't dulled by constant reappearances. The hemovores, introduced in The Curse of Fenric, remain one of the most chilling creatures in the show's history, precisely because they weren't shoved in our faces every few seasons. If Class had leaned into the horror, built its mythology around the Weeping Angels, and maintained the mystery rather than drowning in teenage melodrama, it might have had a chance. But instead, it got buried under the weight of its own mediocrity, joining the ever-growing pile of Doctor Who's squandered potential. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where, naturally, I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.